This is A Little Too Familiar, written by Lish McBride, performed in duet by Stella Hunter and J.F. Harding. Chapter 1. Lou. Mrs. Davis perched rigidly on one of the plastic chairs in the exam room, her large handbag taking up the other seat. The exam room walls were painted a soothing blue color, complemented by idyllic scenes of animals in nature. We'd brought a designer in specifically to make this room the visual equivalent of a cup of chamomile tea. And yet, the client appeared very unsoothed. She actually looked the opposite of soothed, like the faintest nudge would make her crack into several jagged pieces. I nervously adjusted the little plastic badge that said apprentice on it as I tried to decide the best approach. She held her hands, which were encased in high heat-resistant gloves, out to me like an offering. I leaned over the exam table to get a better look at the puffball the color of flames nestled in her gloves. Oranges, reds, and a little tuft of yellow over bright obsidian eyes. The baby phoenix chirped at me, the note musical and clear, and my heart totally melted. How cute was he? Answer: so fucking cute. Sometimes I loved my job. Other times, well, let's just say I wear scrubs for a reason. The phoenix shook his fledgling feathers and sparks cascaded down. I spritzed the floor with more water just in case. Birds weren't always my favorite. Pigeons, for example, could test anyone's patience. For having brains the size of a walnut, they had an astounding repertoire of dirty jokes. And nosy. You couldn't keep secrets from pigeons. But this little guy, I just wanted to squeeze all his cuteness into a cup and drink it. Wait, was that weird? It was probably weird. I needed to spend more time around people. Here. She pushed the fledgling almost into my hands, even though I wasn't gloved yet. Surprised, I sidestepped, trying to read her body language. Was she just desperate to hand off the fledgling? I would be the first to admit that I didn't always read humans well. Animals make sense. People don't. I can't live like this. She leaned closer, brushing his feathers against my scrubs. I yelped, jumping back, smacking the fabric with my free hand. The stench of singed cotton filled my nose. Our clinic saw phoenix fledglings so rarely that I hadn't really been prepared when I'd entered the room. I was kicking myself for not grabbing one of our leather aprons. But I'd been so excited to check the little fella in, a baby phoenix, that I practically sprinted into the room. There was no way Dr. Larson, or as I called her off the clock, Mama Amy, would miss the singe mark either. I had a "your heart is in a good place, but you need to slow down and consider consequences" speech coming my way, which was a classic I'd heard many times before. But come on, baby phoenix. The woman was being careful to keep the sparks from touching her own slacks, which was good, because though I may not know designers or labels, they looked expensive. I set my spritzer on the exam table, trying to decide how to respond while simultaneously attempting to feel out the situation. You don't just find a baby phoenix in your sink one morning. Phoenix parents were fiercely protective, nurturing their young for the first few months. That was a good thing because fledglings couldn't control their flames very well. Hence her thick leather gloves and my squirt bottle. If she had an adult phoenix, neither would be necessary. Or if they were bonded, which was where I came in. Or at least where I wanted to come in, once I was able to finally remove the apprentice badge from my scrubs. I closed my eyes for a second so I could concentrate on my magic. There was no familiar bond between the client and the fledgling. Maybe something had happened to the parent? It was possible she had found the baby and brought it in, hoping we could bond them quickly. That would be safer for everyone involved. I admit he's a little more... I struggled for a polite euphemism, because I've never really gotten the hang of that sort of thing. But I was trying. Your prospective familiar is a little more temperamental than most, but the trade-offs... I don't want a familiar. She scrunched her nose at the baby phoenix. I came by him on accident, and now I don't know what to do. He almost burnt down my breakfast nook. He eats salmon.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?